All right, Ngannou Rosenstrike. I mean, first off, old Chael did it again, huh? Old Chael called it wrong yet again. Have you ever seen anybody on quite as big of a streak as I am? Look, you have to understand going into this fight, kickboxing is either a real sport or it's not. And there's a lot of evidence to say it's not. A lot. You could sum up kickboxing as not being a real sport with two words: Bob Sapp, who with no training walked in and won the K1 twice and made it to the finals the third time and allegedly was paid off to go down in the finals of the third one so he didn't just take over again, a rumor of which I personally believe. The point is this: is kickboxing real or not? So you take Rosenstruck, okay, 27-3 in kickboxing. You put him in there with Ngannou. Ngannou has not done professional boxing or conventional kickboxing, but he did dream of that at one point and somehow found himself in the world of MMA. Okay, great. But when you take two guys that don't have the slightest idea how to even pretend that they want to do a takedown, and the only wins that they've ever accrued were by knockout finish, you don't have to put on your Columbo rain jacket to concede we're going to have a kickboxing match with MMA gloves on under MMA rules, but this is going to be a stand-up fight. So when you take that into account, it does become very relevant. And the one knock on kickboxing, and it's a very big knock, and I'm not looking to tease anybody while they're down. I'm just trying to make a point, and I don't know that there's a better time to make this point. The big knock on kickboxing is they don't have head movement. One of the reasons that pure kickboxers do not translate very well to mixed martial arts is they don't move their head. They're not even trained to. In Muay Thai, they're not even trained to. Your defense in Muay Thai is what is called the shield, where you take both hands with great big gloves on and you hold them like this until your opponent gets done striking you, and then you come back. You don't ever like Western boxing. That's where you bring in somebody like Adesanya, who has actual movement, who respects motion, who respects head movement. It's just not you hit me, I hit you, you hit me, I hit you, let's see who lands first or gets tired fastest. I only bring this to you because when you go into a stand-up fight, you've got a 27-3 record, taking on a guy who's never done it before, and you're going to play under your rules, not his. They can call it unified, but you guys well know what the score is here. It becomes a very relevant thing where you do have to wonder how important it is to have a leg kick if in exchange your coach isn't going to teach you how to move your damn head. Oh, well, they're wearing 4-ounce gloves and it's a different sport. Well, not always. The world of jiu-jitsu doesn't make a bit of difference. The world of wrestling doesn't make a bit of difference. The world of and no grappling art would make a damn bit of difference if you put gloves on your hands or you don't put them on at all, or you make them 16-ounce gloves, or you just tie the guy's hands off completely and they're balled up like a nub. It doesn't make a goddamn bit of difference. But the striking guys always seem to have some kind of excuse. There is no excuse. You have to move your head. You have to move your head, and I don't preach this to anybody, and man, I don't mean to put down Rosenstruck. I really respect him, and I think he does a very good job. What I'm speaking to is a lot of the younger fighters who watch this and listen to me. Do not go into some kind of a sport like this and think that you're not going to move your head, and then you're going to go out there and get a victory. It doesn't work that way. This is a real simple game, and you can talk about it till you're blue in the face, and we can do analysis and make all the videos that we want to do. It's a very simple game. I touch you, and you don't touch me. And whoever does that more at the end of the night gets their hand raised. That's how this works. Keep that in mind, but store that aside because there's a bigger story here, guys. How in the hell do we not make Francis Ngannou the #1 contender? I'm asking you a very sincere question. There's a way we could do it. Sure we could. There's some other names out there. But how do we take what we've seen from Francis Ngannou and make him anything less the #1 contender? I mean, there's a certain responsibility you have when you have a guy this dangerous. It's the same argument I've made for you, a little bit in reverse, when some of you have been mad at Jon Jones for some actions he's had, wanted him stripped and wanted him thrown to the end of the line. I get where you would be upset with Jon. I get that. But there is a responsibility that comes when you're dealing with a mixed martial artist, an unarmed combatant, that is as dangerous as Jon. You cannot throw him in there with a #9 guy. You can't throw him in there with a #7 guy, and please don't even bring up throwing Jon in there with somebody that's not in the top 10. He will send you to the hospital. There is a level of responsibility. It's like dealing with Craig Jones. You cannot just bring somebody in that raises their hand and says, I want to go out there and take him on. You have to bring somebody in. If you're in a leadership position, even if you got to write a check, you got to bring somebody in that can protect themselves meaningfully. Francis Ngannou is a dangerous guy. Stipe could protect himself. Sure he could. Daniel Cormier could protect himself. Sure he could. Curtis Blades, in all fairness, could probably protect himself. Guys, where does the list go? Am I leaving anybody out? Because I don't feel like I am. This is a very, very scary athlete who has to be matched up accordingly. Set all of that aside. These heavyweights are big guys, they're big, tough guys. I'm sure there's other options that we could go to. I would just suggest for you. Man, it's hard to deny Francis Ngannou.